Hi everyone, welcome to the third episode of Yes Mantri Ji, a show on the PRIT where we discuss the bureaucracy, its politics and everything civil services. This is the first episode of Yes Mantri Ji in 2022, so wishing everyone a very happy and a safe new year. The Modi government in the last week of December effected a major reshuffle of bureaucrats, secretary level bureaucrats. And as part of this reshuffle, several ministries like Drinking Water and Sanitation Ministry, the Petroleum, Consumer Affairs, Environment Ministries, they all got new secretaries. Significantly, this is the fifth major reshuffle at the level of secretaries that has happened since the Modi government came to power for the second time in 2019. In July 2019, right after the government came to power, then there was one in December 2019, there was also one in April 2020 in the middle of the first wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. Then there was one in September 2021, and now most recently that happened in December 2021. Now, by itself, this is not a new trend. Even in the first term of the Modi government, we all saw this trend where officers were transferred rather frequently, and this perception was quite prevalent among the bureaucracy that officers, even the senior most level officers, are kind of kept on the tenterhooks, and there is uncertainty about what one's next posting and when one's next posting would be. To be fair, even in the UPA years, the norm was that most secretaries would not get more than a year or a little more than a year in one position. But this trend and this perception of uncertainty did intensify after the Modi government came to power in 2014, and it became very clear from the beginning in 2014 itself, when this government sort of cut short the tenures of the Home Secretary, Mr. Arvind Mayaram, and the Foreign Secretary, Sujata Singh, and even two Home Secretaries, in fact. And for some of us who are a little less familiar with these administrative rules, there are four ministries that together constitute the Cabinet Committee on Security, and these are the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Home Affairs, and Ministry of Defense. And their secretaries are given a fixed tenure of 2 years. This is given because in order to give these secretaries some kind of continuity in their respective ministries, and also give them some kind of legal protection given the sensitivity of the matters that they deal with. When the government cut short the tenures of 3 of the 4 secretaries in these positions, it became quite evident that things in the bureaucracy will be shaken up a bit. And this trend has kind of by and large continued in the second term of the Modi government as well. And I think it is a good time to take stock of how in its second term the Modi government has dealt with its bureaucrats, because we are halfway into the second term, and we can say that the trend has by and large continued. In fact, right after the government came to power in 2019, we saw a spate of very high profile and some very controversial exits and transfers from the government as well, where senior secretary level IAS officers were transferred out and removed on account of underperformance. The most high profile of these cases was, of course, Mr. Subhash Garg, who was the finance secretary. He was removed as the finance secretary in the middle of the budget session in 2019. This was obviously seen as a punishment, not just by others but by himself as well. It was seen as a punishment because as the finance secretary, he was the chief architect of the budget, and in a very unprecedented manner, he was in the middle of the budget session removed as the finance secretary and sent to what is considered a slightly less prestigious ministry, the Power Ministry. Rather than taking up that post, Mr. Garg, of course, went on to take voluntary retirement from IAS itself. That was the biggest sort of high-profile exit. But then there was also the exits in the Human Resource Development Ministry, which is now, of course, the Education Ministry. Ms. Reena Ray, who was the Secondary Education Secretary, she was removed in 2019 on account of underperformance. Her colleague in the ministry who was handling higher education, Mr. Subramaniam, He was also removed in the middle of a controversy in Jawaharlal Nehru University, and he was sent to the Social Justice Ministry. There was a lesser known case as well of Mr. Sumant Chaudhary, who was serving as the Coal Secretary until October 2019. He was quietly removed as the Coal Secretary, and a new person was brought in. Unlike Ms. Ray and Mr. Subramaniam or Mr. Garg, he was not given a new post within the central government, and neither was he sent back to his West Bengal cadre. An officer of his seniority who was handling a sensitive ministry, the coal ministry, he was removed from his position and then not given a new assignment. And even now, when I checked his government profile, it says that Mr. Chaudhary has been on compulsory wait since October 2019. During the first wave of the pandemic, a lot of officers were transferred, and a few of them were actually transferred from very important ministries from the point of view of the handling of the pandemic to much less prestigious ministries. The Consumer Affairs Secretary, Mr. P.K. Agarwal, was made Special Secretary Logistics in the Commerce Ministry. Food Secretary Ravi Kant, he was also transferred out and he was made Secretary in the Ex-Servicemen Welfare Department in the Home Ministry. Mr. Ravi Mittal, who was the Information and Broadcasting Secretary, he was also transferred out and he was sent to Sports Ministry. Most recently, in November 2021, the government removed the Rajya Sabha Secretary. He is not an IAS officer, but removed the Rajya Sabha Secretary just 10 weeks after he was appointed and brought in Mr. P.C. Modi in his place. This was considered very, very unprecedented to remove a Rajya Sabha secretary within just 10 weeks. But the government brought in Mr. P.C. Modi, who's of course considered a very trusted bureaucrat of this government. He was the former chairperson of the Central Board of Direct Taxes, and where he was given 3 extensions. So this trend of uncertainty and this trend of sort of abrupt transfers and all has kind of stayed in place in the second term of the government as well. But what is a new trend is some kind of stability that we see in key ministries. I mentioned that there are 4 ministries which constitute the CCS. So let's look at these ministries. If you take Mr. Ajay Kumar Bhalla's example, he has been the Home Secretary since August 2019 in a very unprecedented fashion. In August 2021, when he was to retire, the government extended his term. We are going to have a Home Secretary for more than 3 years with Mr. Ajay Kumar Bhalla. Another Mr. Ajay Kumar, who has been serving as a Defense Secretary since August 2019. So again, he has completed more than 2 years in this position. If you see the Ministry of External Affairs, the Secretary there, Mr. Harshvardhan Shringla, he has also been in his position since December 2019. The Finance Ministry, of course, continues to be a little less stable than its counterparts in the CCS, because the Finance Ministry has seen 3 secretaries in the last 2.5 years. But even in finance, we do see some kind of stability coming in, because if you see the RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, a very important post, here Mr. Shaktikanta Das had been the governor since December 2018. In December 2021, his 3-year contract was renewed, and now he is set to be the RBI governor for another term of 3 years. And given that his predecessors, both Mr. Raghuram Rajan and Mr. Urjit Patel, had controversial exits from the RBI, this is a sign of stability within the RBI as well. One can kind of argue that the action with regard to these bureaucratic transfers and appointments seems to have shifted from these key ministries to the PMO itself. While the PMO in the second term as well continues to be the center of decision making in this government, but we have seen a spate of very high profile but hushed and quiet exits and unexplained exits from the PMO since 2019 itself. And it started right from the top and right in the beginning when Mr. Nipendra Mishra, Principal Secretary to the PM, he had served in this capacity for the whole term of the first Modi government from 2014 to 2019. He resigned from the PMO in August 2019, and this happened just 2 months after he was given a cabinet rank in June 2019. So at that time, everyone felt that, this is a sign that Mr. Nipendra Mishra will continue to be in this position for the next term as well. well. So he was given a cabinet rank in June 2019, but in August 29, to everyone's surprise, resigned from the PMO. He was replaced by Mr. P.K. Mishra, who has since then been the principal secretary to the PM. He, much like Mr. Nipendra Mishra, was also given a cabinet rank, and he sort of continues to be in the PMO. In April 2020, during the first wave of the pandemic, we saw Mr. A.K. Sharma and Mr. Tarun Bajaj, who were in the PMO. They were sent to the ministries of MSME and Finance. And that time, the perception was, of course, that these are very trusted officers of the PM. And so they have been sent to very sensitive positions and at the time of the pandemic to sort of spearhead government's handling of in those areas, MSME and Finance. Then Mr. A.K. Sharma again surprised everyone by applying for VRS, voluntary retirement from service, in January 2021, and then went on to join the Uttar Pradesh BJP, which is quite unprecedented in some way for an officer in the PMO handling a very crucial ministry as a secretary to take voluntary retirement from the IAS and then join the BJP or join a political party. And then we had Mr. P.K. Sinha, who was appointed as principal advisor to the PM in August 2019 for a 2-year tenure. And he resigned from the PMO as well in March 2021. He cited personal reasons for his resignation, so not much is known about why Mr. Sinha actually resigned way before his tenure was to get over. Then Mr. Amarjeet Sinha, who was appointed as advisor to PM in February 2020, again for a 2-year tenure, resigned from the PMO again before his tenure got over. He resigned in August 2021. Then there was also Ms. P. Amuda, who was brought in from Tamil Nadu to serve as a joint secretary in the PMO in July 2020. Over the course of her tenure, she was promoted. She was made additional secretary in the PMO. Just a few months after her promotion, in October 2021, she was repatriated to Tamil Nadu to her cadre after the state asked the center to relieve her. Her exit actually led to another sort of mid-level rejig in the PMO as well. And some of these changes, some of these exits from the PMO can of course be explained through the change of guard that happened between Mr. Nipendra Mishra and Mr. P.K. Mishra, because it is but natural that in any organization, when the top leadership changes, it kind of does lead to ripple effects across the organization. In this government, where the bureaucratic transfers and appointments and exits are sort of shrouded in so much mystery and secrecy, it is not going to be wise to hazard any other guess. But thank you so much for watching this episode of Yes Mantri Ji. We will be back with another episode, and until then, do subscribe to the Print YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.